everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Kim Mitchell. Everyone knows me as Miss K, but we are here because we are going to be talking about water safety for Water Safety Day. We want to make sure everyone is safe this summer, so I have a special guest. His name is Mr. Bishara Omar. Mr. Bishara Omar. And so Bashara is going to share a story about his experience. We often talk about water safety and how it's important to know how to be safe around, various water facilities throughout the city or wherever you live. And so when Bashara was younger, he had an incident at a pool, right? It was at a pool, right?
Yes.
And so he's going to share his experience of what happened so that we can all learn from his experience and be safe around, water activities as we go throughout life. Okay. And so welcome, Bashara.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You are welcome. So let's give people a little history about us. So listen, I knew you since high school. We actually went to the same high school. We went to Andrew Jackson High School in Queens,
Mm-hmm.
which had a swimming pool. Now, did you take swimming at Andrew Jackson?
No, I never even went down there at
Really?
all. The whole time, I never even seen the pool. I
What?
I knew where it was by the gym, but never went down there.
Are you kidding me?
No, no,
That
I never went down there.
listen, that is so funny because that's the story of a lot of, kids and people. There's it's not to say that you don't have access to a pool. There's a pool there, but one, you probably never been invited to go down there, right? You never had the opportunity because to be
Right.
honest, the only way I found out about that pool at our school is because when we had gym class,
Mm-hmm.
they would sign up kids for swimming. And so the swim teacher came to the gym class, right? She's part of the gym class. And
Right.
she went around and asked the kids, do you want to do swimming? Do you want to do swimming? Do you want to do swimming? And I'm pretty sure my first initial reaction was like, no. She was like, just try it. Just try it. Just try it. And I
Right.
tried it and I loved it. So that's how I found the pool.
That's funny. As a kid, we swam all the time. I mean,
Really?
my father's a big was big with us teaching us how to swim as kids.
Hmm.
You know, so we would go to Saratoga Springs, on in summers and stuff, and we used to swim like fish. So I knew how to swim. But when it came to high school, that wasn't a thing to do. Like go swimming. What?
All right. That's
I'm
what a
too cool for that.
that's what a corny kids.
I'm too cool for that.
Right, right, right. But also you had a pool in your backyard.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. But that my father built
Yep.
actually the
Hmm.
deck of the pool and everything. So yeah, we were one of the kids around the neighborhood that actually had a pool and deck in our backyard, which
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. So take us through your journey. So I know this is as much as I know. What I know is that your family moved down to Atlanta, Georgia from New York City when you were, I want to say, were you
this is
20 yet? Were you in your 20s
this
yet? Or you was like still
yeah, I was
teen?
this was like in 93 and 94. It's in between, I think 94.
Okay. So
No,
how old were you?
my mother moved down in 93. I was 22.
Okay.
I was 22.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
guys moved down there and then you were living your life.
Oh yeah. I was from a New York kid coming to Atlanta for the first time and seeing just a new type of lifestyle was, and I had friends down here too, which made it that much easier to adapt and everything. But I immediately liked Atlanta.
Hmm.
I, yeah, I was like, wow. It's different, and what I thought was gonna be 2 weeks became 2 months, became 2 years, and
And you never came back to New York.
yeah, pretty
Wow.
pretty much.
Wow. So I remember that, but then I remember getting a call that you had had an accident. And if you can talk about like what happened that day and, just share with us the
Okay.
story.
I had just prior 2 months prior, I had just moved out of my mom's house and got my own apartment. It's me and a roommate of mine. So I was living at a time where I was broke free from the nest
Mhm.
and kind of, be a man about mine and just look towards, being on my own and things like that. Very proud to be, have living in my own space.
Mhm.
And just one day, one of my friends had a graduation party. He wanted a graduation pool party. So all of us were all geared up to go. And I'm just searching for, what am I gonna wear? Where are my swimming trunks? Where are my swimming trunks? All over the place in my swimming trunks, you know. So on this particular day, we all go and get there, and it's very early before the party really starts, before people start coming and everything. So it was very hot that day. So all of us we were wanting to get in the pool. So I was with a couple of friends of mine at the time, and it was a residential pool where somebody had a pool in their backyard, one of them in-ground pools, right? And so a couple of my friends jumped in, and here I go, um, seeing the water. Now, mind you, prior to me being my youth being so comfortable with the water, it's like seeing water. It's like you figure it's like getting on a bicycle
Mhm.
again and stuff, you know. And prior to that day, I haven't been in the water in so long. But my mind was like, you done been in the water in and out all your life, you got this. So what made me want to just go ahead and think I would just dive in, you know, not being now looking back, I'm looking at it like, okay, how dense the water is. You kind of forget how, you know,
Deep.
yeah.
Right.
And actually this pool, um, where I dove in, it had to been like 5 or 6 feet from where I dove in. It got deeper. It was one of them gradual pools where it had to go, it had to get at least as 10 feet deep.
Mhm.
But where the part where I dove in was about 5 or 6 feet. Um, and when I dove in, had my hands in front of me, um, I did what I did a couple of times, diving in and hit my head on the bottom of the pool.
Mhm.
But the way I dove in, actually, when I dove in and my head actually hit the bottom of the pool, which had my when I hit my head, it immediately shocked my spine. When the impact of that your head hitting that floor is shocking your spine totally goes into shock and it's nothing moves. I knew I was in trouble when once I hit, and the thing was I was conscious the whole time. So it wasn't like it knocked me unconscious. I was conscious of it the whole time. Actually, the impact had me just floating. I floated to the top of the water, and my friends were in the pool at the time, seeing me, and my one of my friends, good friends, Chicago, grabbed me out of the water because they knew I couldn't move. I was just face down, floating on top, grabbed me out of the water. And luckily, the whole time I'm just holding my breath. And I immediately told him something is wrong. I knew something. I did something to myself. So they got me out of the water and at the time they're trying to saying, "Get up, man. Come on,
Mhm,
get up."
mhm,
And I'm telling them, I can't move. I knew I was in trouble then. So right then and there, I'm just laying there, sun is all in my face, and they called the ambulance. Right then I knew. I was like, oh wow. So I had to been waiting. We had to been waiting for the ambulance for at least about a half an hour,
What?
maybe 5 minutes.
Mhm,
Um, But the whole time I'm just sitting there trying to be calm, and everybody with a puzzled look on their face, like, what just happened?
mhm,
You know. But and so actually later when I found out during transport when they got me into the ambulance, I needed oxygen put towards my face because they felt I was hard to breathe for
mm,
me. So they had to put oxygen on my face, you know, so I can continue breathing.
mhm,
But I figured I almost died from
mhm,
that accident. But but yeah, that was a time that I was 25 years old at the time.
mm,
You know, and I was sent to the DeKalb Medical, and I remember being in the MRI table, and they wondering you know, scanning what's going on, what actually happened, you know. And I remember being in an MRI, and then from there they shipped me. They got a diagnosis and said it was a spinal cord injury from that at the C5 C7 component of my spinal cord in my neck, from the cervical points. Um, from that, they sent me to the Shepherd Center. The Shepherd Center is a specialty hospital for spinal cord injury people. It's a great hospital, one of the greatest hospitals in the nation,
mhm,
actually. And I'm glad that I went there and spent 2 months in there rehabbing uh, my injury. And unfortunately, that's where I got my spinal cord injury.
mhm,
And ever since then, it's been a climb up the mountain trying to get from. I mean, I've come a long
mhm,
from was physically, mentally,
mhm,
in every aspect, you know. But as far as that, in a nutshell, and it changed my life forever.
mhm.
One decision
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted that you made changed my life forever.
So well, one, I thank you for sharing because I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's that one defining moment that if you could take it back, you would obviously take it back, do something different. It's just in a blink of an eye how your whole life can change. So with your injury, C5, C7 with your neck at your neck, what I know you have paralysis. So how is your physical body limited now?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the at the first impact, I couldn't move anything from my neck down when they shipped me to the hospital. Now, that's when I had to come later to find out when your spinal cord goes into shock, everything from my neck down was paralyzed. So I didn't know what was happening. My body was going through. Within that 2 month stay at Shepherd and rehabbing and being in the hospital, slowly within 2 weeks things started. coming back. Uh, like my arms, my shoulders were moving, things out and things of that nature. Now, Shepherd, they pretty much put you through therapy where um once you recover and start, coming to the realization that okay, um your legs are not working. So they have this 2-year window where they don't know what may what may come back.
Mhm.
You know, so within that 2 months, they get you up in wheelchair, and they go through a process of rehabilitation of getting your balance, going through uh, the daily activities you may do as an able-bodied person.
Mhm.
The one thing they teach you, if you being able-bodied, you did it one way, but there's other ways of doing it. You have to adapt.
Mhm.
Um, Being at a C5, C7 level left me without the dexterity of my fingers.
Mhm.
I lost the ability to grab and hold, open my hands at will. So as my arms moved, my fingers did not. So we had to learn how to do daily activities, washing up, brushing your teeth, bathing, and things of that nature, where they get you ready for your new world.
Mhm.
Once you leave the hospital, you
Mhm.
know, that was a big ordeal, which was, looking back, it was a totally new world for me, but that's something that, you had to um, accept
Mhm.
and, and move on. This is what it is right now. And this is where you start rehabbing and get your mind right to get better day by day,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Wow. So you got the movement of your arms. So your legs, you're not able to walk. Are
No,
you able to move your legs, feel your legs?
uh, yeah, that's one thing too. Within 2 weeks, I've gotten a sensation of everything. My legs, I can feel when somebody touching my foot.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So the sensation came back pretty, but within that 2 weeks,
Mhm.
I started to feel and think. But within that month, you started to kind of know the difference between, okay, I can feel when somebody's touching me, but if you're in the shower or something, I don't have the sense of temperature.
Oh,
Hot water, like anything below um, my waist down, I can't feel hot water
oh.
or temperature of cold.
Mhm.
You Um, by the touch of my fingers, yes, I can feel from my fingers if it's hot, cold. My arm, everything from my belly up, I can feel temperature.
Mhm.
If my belly down, that's the one of the quirky things about
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Feel the pressure. I can feel the pressure of the water hitting me.
Mhm.
Just can't feel the
Mhm.
temperature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's serious. And but I know, right?
It,
You
it's,
move on. You learn from these experiences and you move on and you've built a wonderful life for yourself and tell us some about some of the things you do and you've accomplished.
One thing about this ordeal, somebody going through this, you really learn about the person inside.
Mhm.
You know, that's one thing you really you learn about who your real friends are.
Mhm.
Learn about so much about yourself, so much about what strengths you have within yourself, and you have to pull on those strings really
Mhm.
to actually you're either gonna go positive, or you're going to go or the other way.
Mhm.
You're going to take his attitude and say, I'm going to make the best of it. You know, that's one thing I I I, I didn't feel always alone. I had a very strong family support system. My father, my mother, um, rest her soul,
Mhm.
um, my brothers, my sisters, everybody. I felt such a support system to keep going, stay
Mhm.
strong. We're gonna get through this,
Mhm.
and that was important
Mhm.
uh, for anybody going through such an ordeal as I have, to be shook like that, to have that family backing,
Mhm.
to want to push on and have a positive outlook about day to day.
Mhm.
And no one, you should never underestimate the power of prayer.
Mhm.
Prayer has got me so far.
Mhm.
Uh, uh,
Absolutely.
far as having that outlook that hey, things are gonna be okay. Just keep
Mhm.
pushing on.
Right.
And with the ideology of just one day at a time, get
Mhm.
strong, get a little bit more wiser. And let's see where this thing's gonna take you. You know what I'm saying? And it like I said before, I've come a long way from not having the ability, the strength to get myself up in bed, to just pushing on and getting stronger day by day, going
Mhm.
through therapy and things like that. But speeding back up to uh, my journey through my rehab and things of that nature, I can say proudly today, I'm self sufficient and independent in my living.
Mhm.
I take full care of myself. I am wheelchair bound and live out and live a good life.
You drive?
I currently drive.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. Mhm.
I, yeah. I actually went back to school.
Mhm.
It was good for me to get my mind off of just me and my disability
Mhm.
and mind to something else.
Mhm.
And I went to school. Didn't finish college before my incident, so I went back to school to Georgia State University. Before that, before it turned into Georgia State University, I went to the Perimeter School, which was Georgia Perimeter at the
Mhm.
time, but
Mhm.
they changed the name. Uh, and got my associate degree in business.
Oh,
You know, which I was very proud of that. You know,
yes.
actually finishing something I started.
Right, right.
And
And where you work at, you work with youth?
actually where I was when I was going to school at Georgia State, I was a work study in the recreational services department in that gym facility and started working there um, as a facility attendant, and working there 2 years. I graduated in 2010, and as I was, you know, thinking about graduating and leaving, they offered me a job.
Mhm.
And since then I've been working there, um, which as a recreation specialist, and been working there managing the facility, the ins and out, upholding the policies and procedures
Mhm.
of a building and everything, and actually managing other work study students.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
yeah, been there since, and
Yeah.
been what, 13, 14 years since I've been there.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, it's come full circle. It's definitely come full circle. And you're dealing the hand that you've been dealt, right? You're making, you're I don't want to say making the best out of it, but you're living your life, we're all,
Yeah.
we all go through things, and um, it just speaks to your character and who you are because you're still here and you're thriving and you're, continuing to go on. So that's what it's all about. And I want to end on this note. What is one piece of advice or one, in terms of like water safety, because this whole conversation is about water safety. What can young people do to be safe around water? And where do you see maybe the work or the conversation in this country, like where it needs to be? You know, what do we need to do to make sure these types of incidents don't happen? Because we want to make sure that, young people are safe, or people, not just young people, but people are safe around waters because we hear there are so many accidents every year. Like I was sharing with you before, we already heard about the two little boys drowning in New York, in Harlem, drowning. The year before that, it was two little boys drowning in Rockaway. So
Right.
we're just sick and tired of this. So it's, what can we do? What can we do? And what's one piece of advice you would give to
Mm.
swimmers this summer?
Well, yeah, as much as you hear about these stories, you know, you just shake your head and be like, wow, what I just think there needs to be more of an awareness of people actually going through these circumstances year by year, and uh, just have this be aware that water is not all. Water is it's a serious thing. Water you look at it is you want to play in it.
Hmm.
Everybody's having fun, but it can be a serious situation. Water is dangerous at the same time, and I think stories like mine should be put out there so not only young kids, adults also could have my story in the back of their head also,
Hmm.
dealing with their kids, having them learn the proper way to swim, learning all the parameters and details of what to do and not to do, paying attention to signs when you're at the pool,
Hmm.
swim with a buddy,
Hmm. Yeah.
things of that nature, uh, because you never want to swim by yourself. You never know if you may get a cramp in the water. You're by yourself. How you
Hmm.
gonna get out of it? You
Hmm.
know, my situation, diving. Knowing where to dive. There's a time and a place where to dive in the pool. If you don't, if when you know how,
Hmm.
you know, and just have that mindset. It's not all fun and games in around that swimming pool. Got to pay attention to those signs and have that that message in the back of your mind. Be like, we need to be more mindful that it's a thin line between having fun and something turning left and being in a situation such as mine.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, I had a spinal cord injury from a diving accident that I was just going there to have fun.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's so funny because this is actually the first time I'm hearing your story. And I'm grateful for you sharing and taking this opportunity. And we're gonna make sure that people are safe. Because if anything, the minimum, that's the least thing that should come out of this is that, we use it to, make sure that other people, the next generation, right? You have a bunch of nieces, right? A bunch of nieces coming up, and we got to make sure that they're safe. And so
That's right.
that's really what it's all about. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
My
And I look forward to hearing more about your journey. And be safe out there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Bye
bye.
bye.